Hello there, so creatives. Welcome to Classy by Mavi. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to cut and sew an high waist pant with elastic band, okay, using the freehand method. So just follow suit as we start. In front of me, I have inserted my waistline. So the next thing I want to insert is my crotch depth. To get your crotch depth, you use your hip circumference divided by 4. Now I am marking hip circumference divided by 4, which is 10.5. My hip circumference is 42 inches. So from this waistline that I'm emphasizing here, from this particular waistline, I'll mark 10.5. I would have marked 12.5 because it's an high waist pant, but that 2 inches is what will make it high waist. The 2 inches I'll be using for the band. Okay, we'll take it to the high waist. So this 10.5 I have marked, the trouser will be on my belly button. Now adding 2 inches band, it will now become high waist. So the next measurement I will be inserting, after inserting my crotch depth, is my center front line. Okay, so for the center front line too, I'll be marking from this part to 10.5 inches. So in effect, it's like I'm taking that 10.5 inches to form a square, right? So after marking it on the crotch line, I am coming over to the waistline again to also mark that 10.5 so I can get a straight line here. Can you see? So I have linked it, and now I have my center front line also. I have gotten my square. Okay, so this is the first step to a perfect trouser, right? So after doing this, the next thing I want to do is to insert the front crotch extension. To get the formula, you divide your hip circumference by 20. So 42 divided by 20 gives me about 2 1/4. So that's what I'm inserting from this point here like this. Okay, from here I mark 2 1/4. After marking the 2 1/4, I am now linking it beautifully back to our center front line. Can you see? Next, I'll be marking the full length of the trouser. So the full length I'm working with is 43 inches, but I'll go ahead and mark 44. So having marked that, the next thing to do is to trace the knee placement. Okay, to do that, from the crotch line you measure to the full length you marked. If your full length is 42, just 43, just like I've mentioned, it's not the extra allowance you mark, you take it to. It's to the 42 point. So after that, you divide it into 2. Okay, from the crotch depth to the full length divided by 2, you mark, and then you go up by 2 inches. Can you see? So this point now is your knee line. This is where you place your knee measurements. Okay, so after that, I'm taking this our line down, this line that we insert our measurements from. Okay, I'm taking it down so we'll be able to draft the down part of the trouser. Okay, so after taking it down, the next thing to do is to get our trouser crease. You measure from this extension to this line, divide it into 2 to get the middle of the trouser. That is where the crease line will be. And now you measure what we have from here to here. You bring that measurement down from here and you mark on the knee line and link. Now you still do the same thing on the hem line. From this line, you mark that same measurement you got and then you link. Now you have your trouser crease. Next, you'll be inserting your knee circumference. My knee circumference is 18 inches. 18 divided by 2 gives me 9. So I'm marking 4.5 on each side of the crease. Can you see? 4.5, 4.5. So I have my 9 inches there, and I'll link this side to my crotch extension, and then this other side I'll link it to my hip line. Okay, or to my crotch depth, since my crotch and hip are on the same level. Can you see? So I have linked it to my crotch depth line beautifully. Now I'll be taking it down straight to the hem line. Since it's a basic pants, okay, that stands like a palazzo, the hem will not be tight. It will be on the same width with the knee line. Okay, so I'll just carefully insert the same measurement here so that I'll get a straight line. 4.5 on this side, I'll link to the knee line so that my line will be straight, and on this side too I'll mark 4.5 and also link to get a straight line. Okay, so we have gotten it. The knee and the hemline are the same. So before you cut out this pattern, you have to add half an inch for sewing allowance. Since we are cutting directly on the fabric, don't forget to add your sewing allowance. Now it's time to cut out our front pattern. Okay, so just like I have mentioned, we are cutting out with half an inch sewing allowance. So just watch me as I cut out the entire pattern. On the side of the waistline, I was supposed to go up by half an inch. So by the time I cut to the level of the waistline, I'll do that adjustment or waist shaping, so to say, before I continue cutting. Now to do the waist shaping, I'll be going up from this waistline by half an inch, like this, by the side, and then I'll link it to the center like this. So my waist shaping has been done. I'll be cutting out from this point now. Okay, we now have our trouser front. Now we'll keep it aside and fold the fabric again, then bring it back to cut out to aid us in cutting out our back. Okay, so this fabric I am folding here is for the back. You'll note that the back is going to be bigger than the front, both wider and longer, so you fold it accordingly. Here I haven't properly folded the back. I'm now bringing the front to place on top of the fabric so I can trace out the back. Okay, can you see? So as you are placing your front, ensure that there is enough allowance on each side, because the crotch extension for the back is also wider than that for the front, and then your hip will also go backwards. So I'm still trying to arrange it to accommodate. As you can see, the full length has been shortened in front. Prior to now, I was able to cut out 44 inches, but now I'll be reducing it to 42 inches. So that's why I folded the front pattern inwards. To 43 inches. So can you see? Measuring it, I am having 43 for the back. So I'll be cutting off that excess from the front. The excess about 1.5 inches. I'm removing it from the front. It's still okay for my trouser length, so I'll work with it. Ankara does not come in a very long length, so we just manage it the way it is. If you are tall, you can place your fabric according to how it will accommodate your full length. Okay, after arranging it properly, I'm starting from the down. Okay, on the hem line, I'm marking half an inch by the side, so I am extending the front pattern by adding half an inch to the front pattern on both sides. Okay, and for this marking, I'm taking it to the knee point, half an inch to the knee point, and I'll stop. Okay, so like I've already mentioned, the back is wider. Now I am moving to the crotch line to insert the back crotch extension. For the back crotch extension, the formula is hip circumference divided by 10. So in my case, the answer will be 4 1/4. Now the 4 1/4 will not go from this point. Rather, I'll take it back 1 inch. Okay, I have marked it on the back pattern. From this point, I marked 1 inch backwards. So from the 1 inch backward point here, like this, from here, I'll be inserting the 4 1/4 inch. Okay, so it will bring me to this point. Now we have our back crotch extended out. So having done that, we'll open up like this and then draw the line on the back fabric like this. Okay, and now we'll take this extended back crotch and take it to our knee line. Remember our knee line that we mark half an inch outwards for the back. So we have linked the crotch line to the knee line. Next, we'll be inserting our hip circumference divided by 4 from this point, from the point that will mark 1 inch backwards, right? So my hip circumference divided by 4 is 10.5. So I'll place the tape here, not from on the original center front line, right? The center front on the center back line, which is the 1 inch backwards from the center front line. So I have marked my hip circumference divided by 4 from that point, and I'll take it straight down to the knee line. Okay, like this. So we are here now. Let's move over to the waistline. For the waistline, we have to link these parts, okay, to get our center back line. We will first of all come to the waistline and come inwards by 2.5 inches. I mark on the waistline, I measured in 2.5. Then I'll measure upwards 1.5. Okay, the waistline for the back is higher than the waistline for the front, so 1.5 upwards, 2.5 inwards. And now I am linking the center back to the side back like this. Okay, so now I'll open up our front and link our back crotch to the back waistline to give us our center back. Can you see? So we now have our center back in a slanted format. Okay, from this point I'm going out by 3/4 inch so that I can get the crotch curve. Okay, can you see? So this is what I did, and we are done arranging our crotch. So this trouser will be having an elastic waistband, so I'll just link the hip line straight to the waistline. Okay, so I will not be shaping the waistline. There is no insertion of waist circumference. I will just use the hip circumference measurement for the waist circumference measurement the same way. Okay, we are basically done with our trouser. So let's remove our front pattern and then cut out the back pattern. Can you see the back pattern standing alone now? It's so beautiful. I hope this pattern is easy. If you have any question to ask, feel free to drop it in the comment section, as I'll be personally answering your questions. So having re-emphasized these lines, I'll now cut out the back pattern. So dear creatives, we are done cutting out, and this is what we are having for our back pattern. The next thing we want to do is to go to the machine and start sewing. Okay, we'll be sewing by joining the center back like this with half an inch. Here I want to join the center part, the front pattern on the center. As you can see, I have my pockets here. If you don't know how I fix this pocket, kindly drop a comment for me. If you want a tutorial for the pocket, kindly drop a comment so I can do a separate tutorial on how to fix a pocket on a trouser. So here I am joining the center front with half an inch of sewing allowance. Okay, can you see? So I'm done. I'll back stitch and open it up. You can reinforce the line. You can sew again, passing through the same line. if you want your trouser to be very, very firm, or the stitches to be very secured. Okay, so this is what we are having for the front. I'll also join the center back, and then I'll go ahead and join back and front together. Here we have our back patterns. So I'm also sewing by joining both patterns together on the center. For the back pattern, I've already marked out the allowance with my chalk. After aligning it properly, I'll go ahead and also sew. So here I've also joined my back. So I'll go ahead and join back and front together. To join back and front patterns, you place the back like this. Here I have my back. I've placed it right side facing up, and then I'll also place my front pattern on top of it, ensuring that the two right sides are facing each other and the wrong sides are facing outside. Can you see? So you align them like this, and then you pin them down. Okay, you pin them down by the sides and on the inseam area. From the waistline, you just pin all, and then you go ahead and sew. You'll be sewing from the center like this, and like this, the sides like this, and like this. So I'll go over to the machine and join it, and then we'll move to the band. Here we are trying to fix the band. So for the band, you get your elastic, about 2 inches elastic. Then you minus 4 inches from your waistline. That is the waist circumference. For mine, my waist circumference is 28 inches. So I deducted 4 inches. So my elastic length is 24 inches. And then you take your tape measure and measure around your waist. Okay, the waist of the already sewn trouser. Can you see? You measure it around, ensure that that measurement is very accurate, because this is what will determine the overall neatness of your elastic band. So after measuring to the end, I got 41.5. So I'll come over this way and also measure the 41.5. Okay, so as you can see, I have a band here that I have cut out. This is 5 inches in width, and then the length I have not measured yet. I'm trying to join so I can get something as long as 41.5. Okay, so let me quickly join so that we measure and cut out. I also want you to note that I have added stay to this fabric, to the band. I have added stay so it will be firm and very beautiful. Okay, because my fabric is Ankara, it is soft, it is not thick. Now I'm also done joining. I'm trimming off so that that area will be smooth enough. Okay, having done this, I'll now get my tape measure and also measure 41.5. okay, so it has to be exact, knowing that I'll also be sewing with about half an inch. I'll be measuring 42 inches. Okay, I'll measure 42 inches and then cut out. Then I'll show you the process of inserting the elastic. So I have cut out the excess. It's now time for us to insert the elastic. Okay, So to insert the elastic, you place it on the wrong side of your fabric like this, ensuring that you have up to half an inch sewing allowance down. Okay, so you are trying to centralize it. You can measure to know exactly what you are doing. So I'm sewing with the 1/4 inch allowance that I gave first, and then you take it to the other side and then stitch it down the same way too. Okay, so just watch me. We are now done joining it. Okay, so this is what we have now. Now we'll join both sides together like this. Can you see? And then stitch them together. Having done that, we now have this. Can you see? So we'll now fold it over like this. We'll just fold it over. The elastic will be inside. Okay, so we'll take it to our machine and then sew. We want to sew and trap the elastic inside before we start joining it to our trouser, right? So I've used my needle to hold it in place. Then I'll go ahead and continue arranging and stitching to ensure that the elastic is trapped inside. As I'm sewing, I'll make sure my needle is not touching the elastic. Okay, so I'm trying as much as possible to shift the elastic inside before stitching. I'm stitching mainly or solely on the fabric. So here, this is what we have. Can you see our elastic band? We'll now be inserting it to our trouser waist. Okay, at this point you can decide to pin it round. I am aligning the center front to the elastic band first, and I'm sewing from the center front. If you are not too sure of the size of your band and the waistline, if you are not sure if they are equal or not, you can pin it all around to check if there is any discrepancy and correct it before you start stitching. Okay, so for me, I'm quite sure, so I just started stitching like that from my center front. So watch me as I stitch around the trouser waist. Once again, as I'm stitching, I'm ensuring that my needle does not touch the elastic. So I'm trying to shift the elastic away. As you can see me doing, I'm adjusting from time to time, ensuring that the needle does not touch the elastic, but rather it is sewing only on the fabric. So at this point, my sewing space has become tight, so I'll simply push these trouser legs inside like this. Can you see? Okay, so everything aligns straight and straightforward. Okay, so we are almost at the end. I'll continue sewing till I'll get to the end. Follow me up so that you see how everything aligns, how the band and the waistline are equal. Can you see? I'm at the end now. They are very equal. So we started from the center front and we are back to the center front. This is it. So here we are. Our trouser with elastic waistband is ready. Can you see? I'm here adjusting the elastic so it goes evenly around the waist. So our trouser is fully set. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to learn how to make the pockets, don't forget to drop your comments so I'll know and make a video on the pockets. So just check it out on the full completed outfit on the mannequin. Please subscribe to the channel if you find this video helpful. Thanks for watching.